Hello everyone, welcome back to All About Linux. So in this video we'll be looking at how to speed up Ubuntu 22.04. So let's start with the video. So first we will simply install preload here. So simply type here the command sudo apt install preload. So what preload basically does is it will simply keep track of all the applications that you have used, and it will simply guess on the basis of that. So the most frequent that you have used, for example in my case it can be Firefox. So it will simply load the dependencies and the binaries of the Firefox onto the memory, and it basically reduces the loading time of the application. So in case if you are using let's say Android Studio, or if you are into the web development, you can always use preload. It will really help you to quicken up the system by simply decreasing the loading time of a particular application that you use frequently. Of course, if you do not use much of Ubuntu, then preload might not be useful to you. So let's move on to our next command. So before we move on to the next command, I just wanted to mention that if you want to activate preload, simply reboot your system after you have installed it. Then it will afterwards you do not have to do anything. It will work on its own in the background itself. So the next command I am talking about is reboot command. So what you need to do is just simply type the reboot command here, just to restart the system. In various cases a process might be running in the background. So what you need to do, you will simply reboot the system, which will eventually force the system to kill that process, and it will really quicken up your system. If you are really doing any kind of heavy task, you might want to reboot your system before you are doing that task. So this is what you can do. The next thing that you can do is you can simply run the update and upgrade command. You can simply run sudo apt update, and you can simply use sudo apt upgrade. You should always use this command once in a month. Why I'm telling you that? Because some of the packages might require an update at least once in a month, or at a regular interval, let's say, and that package can cause you trouble if you have not updated your system. So make sure that you should update and upgrade your system at least once in a month, so as to keep your Ubuntu 22.04 well tuned and up to date. So this is what the third thing that you can do. And the fourth thing that you can do to keep your system speed to quicken up your Ubuntu 22.04 is by putting your Ubuntu 22.04 onto the performance mode. So what you can do is you can simply go to settings, you can simply go to power, and you can simply click on here performance. Now for example, I will simply open here terminal, and I will simply type here sudo i7z to track down the performance of the system here. So note down this the frequency that it is giving now, and after I have put my system onto the performance mode, then again note down the frequency. So now just go to the settings, and I will simply click on high performance. So now again simply in a open terminal, and as you can see, it has increased a lot. So this is what you can do sometimes to simply increase the speed of your system. Although if your system is working in a normal condition, then you must always switch to balance mode. It is always useful to use it in the balance mode. So this is what you can do. You can switch between the balanced mode and performance mode to keep your system in a speedy condition. So we'll simply type here Control C and simply type here exit. So the next thing that you can do is you might want to install some of the lighter derivatives of Ubuntu 22.04. For example, let's say you can install here ubuntu-mate-desktop just to install the mate version of Ubuntu 22.04, as it is considered lighter weight. So it might be faster as compared to the default that you are using. So this is the default Ubuntu 22.04 that by default you will use. But in case if you want to use any other desktop environment, for example, you can use a desktop environment of Mate, you can use a desktop environment of Ubuntu, you can also install some other desktop environment such as KDE Plasma or other types of lightweight alternatives. You can also install LXQT. So there are of course various types of alternatives that you can have. For example, if you want to install here, let's say ubuntu-mate-desktop, you can simply type here sudo apt install ubuntu-mate-desktop. So you can simply type here this command and simply enter here your password. Sorry about that. So of course I do not want to install this, but in your case you can simply install it, and of course I will provide the command to install various lightweight desktop alternatives that you can go and you can simply choose one from your own. So these are some of the ways, and of course there is another way that you can simply increase the system. And I know that you might have added various Gnome shell integrations. If your system is giving you some problems, you can simply remove those for some time. You can simply install here, you can simply open the browser where you have added those Gnome shell integration. In my case it is Google Chrome. I will simply type here Gnome shell integration, just click on Gnome shell integration, and as you can see here I have already removed those, but if you want to remove those, you can I will simply add here, and again you can simply click on this remove from Chrome button and you can simply remove these Gnome shell integrations. So this can really speeden up your system. But if you do not want to if you do not want to remove those Gnome shell integrations, then of course you can consider using some of the lighter alternatives where you can always use those Gnome shell integrations, and it will really help you a lot. So yeah, that's it for this video. In this way you can simply speed up your Ubuntu 22.04. These are some of the tips and tricks, and if you want to add anything, just share in the comments itself. And also don't forget to comment if in case if you have find any issues,